Says I'm live. Watch out. Watch out, everybody. I'm live. Ooh, look at that. I think I might start with just one of these thin flakes from yesterday and sort of just pressure flake it into an arrowhead. But I've got so many good flakes from yesterday. Oh, look at that. That could even be, what, something a little longer. We'll go with that one. All right. Let me turn on wireless and whatnot. Make it a little speedier. Okay. Maybe we'll get some people to join. That'd be fun. Oh, already broke the end of that one. Those long ones are so fragile. Which one am I going to go with? That could be a good arrowhead. Maybe that one. Ooh, that one. But rather than knocking away at it with the hammer stone, I think we'll just go right for the flaker. Oh, I got to do a little bit of hammering. Well, I guess this is where the risk is. No risk, no reward. Just want to get rid of that really thick bottom part. Oh, or, yeah, you know what? I'll just pressure flake that top, right? Flip this upside down and sort of do it the other way. You'll get rid of me. Yeah, I think not. See ya. Gotta do what you gotta do. Like, I've got to put a glove on. I got a piece of dacite here today, dacite, I should say. Thought I'd start with something small and start pressure flaking this flake from yesterday into an arrowhead. Give you what process is like. And it's really just using this copper tool to push a lot of flakes off. Right now there's a fan near the end, a bunch near the tip. I'm just going to work that thinner and shorter. There. Well, that's more than I meant to do. Is this still big enough for what I want to make? Kind of, but it's a little underwhelming. I might pick a bigger flake and start over. Yeah, let's go. So, pick the new flake. This is a copper pressure flaker, Gary, if that's what you're asking. And this is a rubber pad with a wood backing. I'm just going to do some shearing, which means I'm going to use the edge of the copper tool and push to break off flakes, just to bring this thing into some kind of closer shape, a pointier triangle than what it is at present. It also gets rid of the really sharp edges. So I'm just running the edge down the side. So I brought this edge in. Now the other side. A bit of pressure to follow that up. This flake is so thin already that there really, as long as I don't break it, there really isn't too much to do that's complicated. Not breaking it will be my biggest challenge. Welcome, buddy. My name is Doug North. I like making things. I like history. I like anthropology and the ancient art of flint knapping all together for me. I hop on here to show people what it's all about. Practice. I'm just practicing. I don't consider myself to be some kind of super expert at this. I've done it for a few years. But there are many people who are far better at it than I am. So just throwing that caveat out there that I'm seeing. But I thought I'd share that process with you. I often start with large pieces and hammering them down. I thought I'd mix it up today and start with something small. Kind of do it the other way, so you get to see like what the sort of the fine detail work looks like, where pressure is involved instead of striking. So I'm just taking a thin flake that I made yesterday and kind of tipping it to shape right now, the edges. That might be really all that's involved with this, because this flake is so thin already. I don't need to do much thinning to it, which is usually the kind of the hard knapping, is getting things thin. But when you can start with something that's super thin, most of your work is for you. This point's going to be a little smaller than I was looking for. But I had to chip off the really fragile stuff. It just wouldn't hold up. So any change you really want to make by this process, the piece is going to get smaller. It's a reductive process. If you want it to be sharper, it's got to get smaller. You want it to be thinner, it's got to get smaller. Just the way it works with flint knapping. We can't put stone back on, and I think that probably makes sense to you. Sometimes I'm jealous of other arts and crafts and skills. You can add material. This isn't one of them. This is not one of them. So bring it to a point. It's still really wide down here, so I'll probably take this angle and bring it down, which will use more of the long end of the stone. It's not going to be a huge arrow point, but effective arrow points usually aren't they're not huge. They don't need to be. You get better penetration if it's small. All other things being equal. Oh, just broke the tip off. See that? Do I keep going with that? I could. I can make a little tiny point out of this, but I'm just like not that excited about how small that would be. Next, that piece, what are we going to do here? I got a bunch of flakes from yesterday that were kind of long and thin. That could be a nice one if I don't break it. But I'm not on a roll today. That one almost doesn't need anything. That one's got some little bit more width to it. Not break it so readily. It's funny, some days you don't break anything and some days you break everything you touch. I hope I hope this isn't one of those days, but so far it is. Once again, more shearing. These flakes are very sharp. So I just brought that a little bit more into a point. I'm going to work this short edge down a little bit to make a longer finished piece, or sort of maximize the length of the finished piece. Yeah, this piece is a bit thicker, so I can actually do some proper pressure flaking on the edge. And let's do a little bit on this side. Yeah, this might work out better, not being quite so thin as the first ones I started with. Braid the edge. How's everyone doing? Thank you for joining. Making an arrowhead. I meant to bring an arrow in to show you. I forgot. I did remember to bring my axe head, which I've been talking about the last few streams and promised I would bring in. Okay, get a little pointier. See some flakes I took off along here. And I should really braid again. Take a look at if it's coming out straight, or if I need to take more off from one side or the other. Yeah, I've been working on larger pieces lately, so let's see, what was I was working on this yesterday, and I'll probably go back to this a little later today. Nice big biface at this point that could be a spear point, could be a knife. Coming along pretty well so far. Hope I didn't just jinx myself. I probably did. Bit of a thick part at the bottom here. Might try flaking this a little bit, hoping I don't break everything. All right, just got rid of some of that real thick part down here. Go back to the pressure flaker. Let's see. Maybe I can pressure flake away some of that additional thickness. Yep. It's just a lot more gold when you use the pressure instead of the percussion. You're putting the tool right where you want it, and it's not such a jarring force. So the location is better, and the amount of control is less. So it's just a controlled process. I just took a little off down here. edge and then press in toward the center of it and pop a little flake off. And then do it in a spot right next to that and proceed down the whole edge. Then flip it over and do it on other sides and the opposite piece of the tool until you get it to the thickness and sharpness and shape that you're after. And this is also how you would resharpen an existing tool. So it had a knife, a stone knife like this one. Can you see the little tiny chips along the edge? That's where I resharpened it using this same technique, pressure flaking. So stone tools can be resharpened. Every time you do it though, they get a little bit smaller. But you can often, archaeologists can often tell when a tool that they've found has been. These little flakes leave a very telltale pattern that often allows them to determine that a tool had been around a while and that the user had resharpened it. Starting to look like an arrowhead, isn't it? So I just did a whole sequence of flakes down this edge. Boop, 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 boop. And you can see the little flake scars, is what they're called, from where the little tiny flakes came off. And now it left behind these little high spots between. See, I did a flake there, but in between it leaves these little high spots. So now I'm going to go back and press all of those off. The force likes to travel along little ridges, and so because each of those flake scars, between each of the flake scars left a little ridge, I can capitalize on that and press those off. There it is. So I'm still have little ridges, but they get progressively smaller. And just checking that the center, that the edge is kind of following the center of the piece. Pretty good. I'll braid a little bit. And then reevaluate and just go back in and take a flake anywhere it seems like I kind of missed a spot. Okay, that's pretty good. And then I've been working on this edge. So now basically all this, the same stuff needs to happen over on this side. a set of initial flakes. Not like next to each other, but not like right next to each other. And that way it leaves that little triangle in between. So they're spaced out a little bit. Okay. So I just did this section here. If we hold it like this, you can kind of see I did here, 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 here. And in between are those little high spots. I'm going to abrade with this abrasive stone. And then I'm going to go back to those high spots, like right there, right there, right there. And push flakes off from each of those spots. Oops. Okay. Okay, I just did all of those, all that side. Take a look at the whole thing. It's kind of hard with my glove. There we go. Another round on that seam. Let's see. Oh, starting to look like an arrowhead. Don't worry, we'll deal with the bottom there. Right now I'm sort of taking this side and swinging it down a little bit so that the base will be more in here. So I've got some good length. So I'm just sort of making it a little longer and thinner at the moment. For those who follow along, I did some work on my my newest long form video last night. Hoping to have that out in the next few days. Excited for that. Been doing a lot of live streams, but I haven't put out many new videos. So that's all part of the plan, part of the grand plan. Look at that. This side doesn't have very many flakes on it. This side's very flat, so it needs less work, but I think I should at least take some flakes from this edge just so it doesn't look so funny. It would be perfectly functional as it is. So this is sort of more for, I don't know, I guess aesthetic purposes. Just to take a row of flakes from this side so the edge doesn't look quite so perfect. Okay. start to flatten out the bottom a bit. And I'll probably bring it up some. I don't want to make it too much narrower. So yeah, I think I'll raise the bottom up. Yep. I guess it's about time to do that. A lot of little chips so that I don't need the flakes to travel far. I'm trimming basically so I can angle the piece kind of up like this, rest it on my leg pad, and then press down. That way, because it's not like this, the flakes don't have a tendency to travel very far. I don't really need them to. Not right here. Normally I do. Normally that's kind of the name of the game, is trying to make long so you can get your piece thin. Because I started off with a big discarded flake, it was already thin to start with. So you see, bottom's getting flatter. I still got this little corner that I'm sort of working my way up to. The other thing I could do to get rid of that is to take the edge and swing it in. So basically make it more pointy. That would start to get pretty narrow. I could do a little, I guess. Yeah, I did a little bit. So that, see, this weird corner is getting smaller and smaller. I'll probably now do another row off the bottom, bring the bottom up. This little missing piece will more or less disappear. I could also make the other side match and do kind of a stemmed point. That might be fun. Maybe I'll do that. So I'll take some flakes off the other side to kind of make it match the base. I'm just pressing the tip of the copper tool into the edge and then pressing down. It's very small flakes. So that's starting to match. Yeah, not perfectly symmetrical, but pretty darn close. And it's really hard to see anything against that glove. Oh. So we're just about ready to start putting some notches into this. Why not? And then maybe I'll give it some serration, give it a final sharp edge by putting serrations in it. But first, notches. So there's different styles of points from the side or coming from the corner. I don't do corner very often. Why not? Let's give that a try. So, just to give you a sense for what's going to happen here, I'm going to rest this on my leg or the rubber pad. I'll flip the pad over so you can see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to take the tip of this tool and I'm going to press it into the edge where I'm intending to make flakes. So I'm pressing in, then I'm going to press down, and that will take off on the bottom side. Then I'll flip it over, find that spot, and do it again. And by progressively doing that, I'll work my way in and make a little notch. And that helps with hafting the arrowhead to an arrow shaft. Or it's a knife, hafting it to the blade. Sorry, the handle. So you can't really see them on this one. The thing is, the notches are hidden within the handle, but there are notches in there which I used to tie it and glue it to the handle. I don't really see them on that one. Okay, there's a couple little chips. I'll do a couple more and then I'll show you. So, see that? I've started my corner notch on this side. Do a couple more, go to the other side. I don't like to get too far ahead on any one side. I might have to take this sweater off. Flip it over. Same thing. Okay, how about we start the other side? I'll do a few and then I'll show you. Okay, so I'm working on this side now. And I'll have to even this out a little bit. Let's see, what do I need to do? Flake in here. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to show you the bottom. There you go. A little asymmetrical. Let's see what needs to happen. This one needs to be a little deeper. Fighting me a little bit here. Hopefully I'll prevail. There we go. Get my head out, get my big fat head out of the way. Okay. Got a little bit of a weird spot. Gonna cheat a tiny bit, folks. Just a tiny bit. Don't tell anyone. Just need to thin that out a little bit so I can pop another flake off. Okay, it's better. Hey, Goober. Busting out a quick arrowhead. Let's see. All right. Now I'm going to go through, so I've got my bottom notched. I'm going to go through and do a serrated edge using that same narrow pressure flaking tool. Hey, Dane, welcome back. So, using this narrow tool, I'm going to do a set of very small flakes right next to each other, all along one edge, to start up serration. And then I'll flip it and do it from the same side, but from the opposite direction. So here's the start of the serrations along that top edge. Now I'm going to flip it over and sort of make those deeper by coming from the other side. And these are very, very small flakes, just tiny. I think you can see those serrations pretty well now. And those are sharp. I don't work with obsidian too often. When I do use it, I tend to get this, the all black stuff. Sometimes I get the mahogany stuff, but obsidian is not my favorite, so I don't work with it very often. Now I'm doing the other side. Just getting a start on those serrations. Which one looks prettier? Oh, the banded mahogany looks really nice. I've got a biface inside. I don't have it out here. work on the tip a little bit, but I've got my serrations in there. Let's see if I can get that oriented so you can see them. Now I got to work on the tip a little bit. Lost a little piece of it. It happens sometimes when you're pressure flaking in the final stages. You might lean on it and put a little too much pressure on the tip. Not a big deal. Just go back in and remove some flakes to make it pointy again. The glove, yeah, this is nothing special. This is like, I think it's just like a general work glove, mechanics type glove. So it's got like rubber or a neoprene face and then kind of a mesh back. Or what's it say? It says Boss Tech. They're nothing special. You can like Goober said, you can get these at like Home Depot, that kind of thing. They grip, you know, so they don't keep you super warm or anything, but they help, and a good grip. These are not waterproof because they have this mesh back so they can breathe. I prefer. My hands get hot. In fact, I just realized how hot my hand is. I'm going to take it off. Whew. Well, I'm almost done with this arrowhead. The flakes are really small, and it can be easy to like lean on them, forget they're there, and then you've got a splinter. It's pretty hard to. Just checking the general symmetry here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it always kind of feels better when it is close, as close as you can. Let's see. I'll try to put this on something so you can really see it here. Just dropped it, of course. My best idea. A lot of shadow. But there you can see the serrations, and those are quite sharp. And they make for an effective, like an actually effective arrow, because if you're hunting larger game, these serrations go in and, well, not to be gruesome, but they create a lot of trauma, which is the name of the game. If blood loss is how you're ultimately going to be harvesting that. The serrations might seem counterintuitive because, you know, the modern, a lot of modern broadheads are just like perfectly smooth razors. Those are effective too, of course, but these kind of work from a different principle. Or not really a different principle, but maybe a different philosophy, where damage and blood loss are you know, working in your favor. So the serrations really help. How about that? Not even an hour in and I actually finished something. Mark calendars, folks. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Normally I'm talking so much and I choose large bit, you know, I don't finish. Thanks, Joseph. I appreciate that. I'm hot, so I think I need to take my glove off, my hat, maybe my sweater. All right. Now what? Have a drink. All right, maybe go back to this one I was working on yesterday. Oh, that's right. I left myself with a bit of a problem right there. Ooh, boy. How am I going to fix that? Well, I guess I'm going to try. So I've got an ugly bit right here that has a step fracture in it. I'm going to take a chance and try and set this platform up to make a long flake that comes all the way across and takes that off. I'll probably regret this. But that's the... This is sort of like the... Oh, this is what I know, like, a lot of better flint knappers would do. So, I'll never get better at it if I don't try. Might I break the whole thing in half? Yes. Yes, I might. That's a distinct possibility. But if I don't, then the victory will be all the sweeter. Just taking off a few incidental flip side that I didn't get to. So far, so good. Got to get all the way across there. Yep, this is going to be risky. It's going to be risky. There's no doubt about it. I don't like any of my other options really very much. My other options to get this spot in here would be to come from the end. So there is a nice ridge. In theory, oh, you could do it. But when I hit on the end, I tend to snap them in half because of the shock wave that goes through it. Am I making a Clovis? I'm not good enough. Those, like what I'm pondering right now would be like a sort of just a wimpy version of the flute that you need to make run the end for a Clovis. And I'm nervous about just trying to take off this, much less trying to make a big deep flute like all the way down the length of it. I'm not there yet. I might be able to get a little bit of it from the edge that it's on. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll try to reduce the problem before I go for the big risky hit. Yeah, that's another, like the day I'm able to make Clovis is like the day I'll be like, okay, I'm more than a beginner now. It does kind of look like one though, like the start of one, doesn't it? I've never seen how you make those long flutes. I mean, I've seen a little bit, like people bundling it up, and but I've never really thought about it, or about even trying. Yeah, but you do have me thinking now. Could I hit here and take that whole flake? Like, that's a totally doable proposition, except I tend to break them when I hit from the bottom. That's extra bold. So what if I support it really well? I get it all wrapped up. Oh man, about it. Because it would be kind of an ideal solution. I've got a high ridge going from the bottom all the way to that problem. Well, let me stick with the original plan for now. Maybe that'll be plan C. You guys talking about motorcycles? Let's see, where's that little piece? Oh, cool. Okay. So there's that. Okay. How's that looking? Might be ready. All right. Oof. This is nerve-wracking. Gotta put the glove back on too. Hey everyone, if you're just joining, my name's Doug North. I'm working on making stone tools using the art of flint knapping. Working on, well, what might be your point, but I'm trying to work my way out of a bit of a problem here. And depending on how it goes, might be considerably smaller in a few minutes, and it might not be a spear point anymore. It might be something like an arrowhead. Okay. Yeah, all that helped. Ah! Yep. There it is, folks. Oh, that's heartbreaking. This was coming out really well. Oh, boy. Oh. Damn. Right into. Oh. I wish I could go back in time, you know? Oh, so still decent sized pieces from which I can make something, but I can't bear to look at them right now. So I'm just going to put those aside and not even put them. Oh, that was going well. Well, that's unfortunate. How about this? Try and make an arrowhead out of the bottom of this bottle. Not sure how thick that glass is. Ooh, not very thick. It'd be kind of a small point, but you can do it. Oh, that was a bummer, man. Well, that's how it goes. Onward. How about this piece of chert? This nice piece of great chert to take my mind off my troubles. Away we go. Well, there you go. That's not something you would see like a really, really good flint knapper tube, I bet. Maybe, but probably not. I just wanted to prove to you all that I'm not an expert there. Mission accomplished. Got all the cortex off this side. Now let's go for this stuff here, as much as I can get. There, most of the cortex off. Oh, what's nice about moving to like a big piece after you've messed up, like you get to hit it pretty hard, so you can work out a little bit of your frustration. It happens. It happens regularly. It's just part of the process, especially as you're getting better. Very, very heartbreaking at times, though. That one I had high hopes for. Okay, got most of the cortex off. There's a little bit of this white chalky stuff here on the end. Trim that off pretty soon. Actually, there's a spot I can go for. There we go. That was a bummer. Myself a start of a big, like, primitive hand axe here, kind of. That's a kind of a neat thing, is that when you're working from a big piece like this, you end up like inadvertently working through the stages of prehistory. Like from your first couple hits are kind of like an old chopper, and then, you know, you work your way to sort of a Eschelian hand axe, and in a way you're sort of replicating the technology as it developed over millions of years, at least for a little while during your process. Oops. Yeah, looking more like a hand axe every second. More scraping, more abrading. So, I don't know if you can see it, but this whole face here is concave because of a large flake that was taken off. It wasn't the ones that I took off. It must have been when it was spalled. The problem with that is I can't really drive flakes off from this edge as long as that's concave. Because what will happen is my flake will go in and this could run out of material the force will run out of material to be in. This is the way I think of it anyway, and it exits quickly, and I will get step fractures, and I will have to clean up from long hits from the other side. So I basically have to avoid this for a while until I've worked everything else down, and this is no longer concave. So that's one of those things that, you know, sets your order of operations for quite a while. While it's this big, I basically have to avoid this whole section right here. Little bit here too. But this side is convex, so I can work on this quite a bit. Example, just give you a visual of what I'm doing here. So I hit here, boom, and that knocked off this flake here, right there. Fits right back in there, boom. Got rid of this big chunk of mass that was kind of in the way. I'm gonna go for one right next to it now and get off a piece in here. Yeah, smaller flake right here. Good. A little bit of crushing. I hit too close to the edge. There we go, cleared that out. Took out a big flake right here. Trying right next to it, right here. Yep, good. That was this piece right here. Okay. All right, I got a big mass right here that's kind of lumpy and uneven. So I've tried to prepare this edge to hit from here to take that off. I'm gonna have to wind up for this one. Yeah, I got most of it right there. I could take another hit right, try and take off a bit more. Okay. Got it. So that was the last one, and there's that one. Good. I got rid of that whole big fat mass. It was right here. That's good. Hey, Daniel, I've learned from various places, from books, from friends. Back when I got out of college, I was an archaeologist for a little while, and I had some friends that knew how to do it. I learned a bit from them. And more recently, I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, of course, and then I've got a couple of close acquaintances who are quite good at it. Jason Smith of Hobo Forge Survival, Douglas Meyer, really good at it. So I've learned some from them. Brad Salon of Roots School, I've taken a class with him. So I owe quite a few people for limited knowledge I've managed to retain. Hoping to take some more classes or spend some more time with them sometime soon. This year, you know. Try and level up a little bit by being, having them watch what I'm doing and saying, oh, don't do that, or this is how I do that. So that kind of thing, it's invaluable. You know, you can get so far with book videos and whatever training you've had, but you inevitably reach some kind of plateau. And then it's really handy to have someone watch what you're doing, tracking as that is, and critique it and help you out. Thank you for the question, Daniel. That was, I don't think I've ever addressed that really. Let's see, I got some ugliness over here I better get rid of. So I had some good hits from this side, but it left me with a bit of a funny rough here that's starting to look like a step fracture. So I'm going to come in from this side and see if I can clean that out. Yeah, I got rid of half of it right there. So I need to come in from right there. Yep. I left a little bit going the other way. So the problem is this side is now too flat. This underside is now too flat. And so my flakes are going to tend to end with those step fractures. So I need to concentrate on working on this side now. Because this one is now flat enough that most of my flakes are a little bit problematic when they end. Just got a couple random pieces there. Okay, now I will actually concentrate on the other side. Oh, thanks so much, Dan. I mean, I'm one of many, but yes. I feel kind of strongly about that because, as I've mentioned on this stream before, this is a very ancient skill. This goes back millions of years. And for the vast majority of human history, this was one of our main and best of making tools. And so it's something that we all share in our ancestry. It doesn't matter where you're from, because it was used worldwide for thousands and thousands and even millions of years. So it really feels like something that we should remember. To me, that's how it feels, because it's something we have in common, and it was something that to survive. So we owe a great debt to this practice and the people who knew how to do it well. Hits there. So this is actually dacite, but I know what you're talking about. This is obsidian. I don't work with obsidian all that much. I'm sorry. This is not dacite. This is Georgetown chert. Georgetown chert. This is dacite. I was working with it a few moments ago and I broke it in half. So I'm like, I need to work on something. But I'm glad you found me, and thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it. Build up my YouTube channel, you know, any way I can, and this is one of the ways. Got another long form video coming out next week, I hope. Really cool one. How to make a rock throwing device that I don't see on the internet much. So it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of little known, which feels like a good opportunity to share some cool stuff with people, maybe get a little viral traction, maybe, possibly. But it's neat. It's neat when you can kind of bring something new, because, you know, everything is on the internet, it seems. And when you can find something kind of new, it's exciting. That big old biface. Thank you for letting me know, me names. I'm hooked up to an Ethernet cable. I just don't know how to make it better. I could. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate letting me know. I'm gonna have to look for another solution. I thought this Ethernet cable was gonna do the trick, but maybe that's not so. Yeah, I need a different solution. But what? I don't know. You'd think an Ethernet cable running right from the router would be, you know, as fast. Maybe I need to improve my my service to my house. Maybe my upload speeds just aren't fast. That could be it. We've never been much concerned about upload speed. This is Chert. Oh, OBS, the software. I'm not. I've been looking into it because I want to do a 2-cam setup. I want you to be able to see right over my shoulder so you can see what my hands are doing, and then maybe make a small picture-in-picture of this view right here. But I've not yet installed OBS or figured it out. Yeah, and it is costing me views. Maybe I will look into improving my service. I'm not sure what else to try. I just don't feel like a wireless solution from here, from the house to the workshop, is really going to be faster. Faster than an Ethernet cable? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe the cable's too long. Oh, I wish I did know the answer to that. It's frustrating to think you're putting this time and effort in. I don't know what my ISP speed is. I haven't even looked into that in forever. So that's probably the place to start. Yeah, I don't know. And we've never been worried about upload speed, which I assume is what this is. So that is probably the first thing I need to look into next. Internet speed test. Okay. On Google. That sounds easy. Yeah, I might need to do that while streaming. No, probably not. Need at least 10 megabits per second upload for hassle-free. Okay, that's good info. Thank you. Have you used OBS in picture? Because I'd like to do that. I think that would really help if you could see exactly what was going on in my lap. This side is looking good. This side has this hump that I got to deal with. But getting to it from here is going to be tricky. See that? I got to get to that. In fact, it's going to be tricky to get to from either side. This is concave and this is concave. So I'm probably going to use everything to get closer and then maybe try to come down with an angled hit this way and an angle that way, I guess. Yeah, I've only gotten into streaming in the last 2 weeks, so I will confess that it's all new to me. It's all new to me. And thank you for still watching, even though it's chunky. Oh, come on, break. When you have hits, when you hit it and it doesn't break, you're introducing like weird fracture weakness into it. And so it's like, oh, you don't want to hit too many times without it breaking. There we go. That's what I needed. Hey Mohit, I live in the United States. I'm in the northeast portion of the United States. All right, I'm getting closer to my problem right here. Hey Golden 2.0, this is a stone tool. I'm working on a stone tool the way it was done over most of human history. This is the way like arrowheads, and where's my knife? There it is. Stone knives were made. Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it, and thank you for the feedback. So I am working on a process called flint knapping. And this is how stone tools were made for thousands and millions of years. Thank you, me names. I really appreciate that. I'm my best. Trying my best, trying to share what I know. I'm not an expert, but I've been practicing a while. And I can help a lot of people out if they're interested. Get them started at least, you know, get them on the right track. Save them some time. Well, that side's looking just fine. And I'm slowly working my way up to this problem bit. Almost ready to try a hit or two to try and knock down that very, very high ridge. Just about ready to give that a go. Oh yeah, you're practicing your reverse wrap cordage, Goober. That's awesome, man. Shouldn't say man. I don't know. It's awesome, Goober. Yeah, you'll get the hang of that in no time. And then I recommend switching over to something natural, some natural fiber. Like raffia is really nice and easy, and I think you can get that in rolls at like craft stores like Michael's or Joanne. And it works really well. It's very satisfying. It looks, you know, really cool when you're done. So that might be a next step if you don't have any of the natural materials that I mentioned last time. But that is a great thing. That is such a core skill. If you're going to get into like primitive skills, ancestral skills, knowing how to make cordage it's so huge. I mean, it's right up there with stone tools. Being able to connect tooth together securely, or being able to make, you know, containers, or being able to tie a load together, being able to make something that can support your weight, being able to make traps, being able to make nets. I mean, it's huge. I wish we knew more about when that was invented and how it was throughout very ancient early human history. But unfortunately, plant fibers, they don't last. You know, these rot. They don't turn into fossils the way they do, or they don't stay in the ground unchanged the way rocks do. And so it was undoubtedly crucial to the survival of our ancestors going all the way back, or, well, very, very far back. But we just don't have much evidence from the earliest times. We do have some, you know, but it's in the grand scope of human evolution, it's pretty recent. Yeah, pitch glue. There's a couple different ways to do it. First, a little warning. If you put pine pitch like in a tin can and put it over a fire or an open flame, be aware that the fumes of that, as it's melting and burning, those fumes are flammable. So if you get it really hot, vapors come up and then a flame whips around, the whole thing can start burning and it's very hard to put out. So I recommend a boiler. So get some kind of bigger container, a pot or a big coffee can or whatever, fill that with water, then get a smaller tin can, put your pine pitch in that, and then put that in the, and then that can go on a fire. It's a lot safer because if it starts to burn, it's very hard to put out. And if you spill it on something, it continues to burn. So if like you've got it on yourself or something, it's going to be hard to get out, and you could cause a real serious burn. So use a double boiler, way better. That, you want to get that pitch as clean as you can. So you might heat it for a while and then use like a junk spoon to like skim off any weird bits and pieces. You might get a piece of scrap screen and try and filter it through, but it's gonna ruin almost anything you put in there. So that's why I'm saying junk spoons, screen, tin cans. It's sticky stuff, and it's just gonna make a mess. Yeah, bear grease ultimately can be really great. I haven't done it, but I know other people that do. But what you really want in there for sure is get a bunch of charcoal from the fire, not the charcoal for your grill, because that's got other stuff in it. Go find a wood fire, find some leftover pieces of charcoal, grind them between 2 stones or 2 bricks or something to make a nice fine powder. Put that into the hot pine pitch, and then you can add a little wax, or you could add a little bear grease. But something that's really important is, same to you. Thank you for stopping by. Go check out my other stuff. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you. Get some very, very, very fine dry grass, and break it up. Or if you're bold, the authentic way to do it is to go find some rabbit pellets or deer pellets, little oval droppings, and dry those out, and then crush those up and put that in. Because all that is super, super fine fibers. So that's often what my recipe is rabbit droppings, powdered charcoal, and pine pitch. If you've got bear grease, you could put a little in. If you've got wax, like beeswax, you could put that in. Bear grease, you're not likely to have. It's the fat taken from the animal that's then rendered down into tallow. So you're not likely to just have it. And it's not crucial. It just makes the pitch glue a little less brittle. But most of my recipes don't have any of that in it. You could just a little bit of wax into the mix too, and that will make it a little less brittle. I've never tried Vaseline, but I would. Just don't overdo it, because then you'll lose the property of it, being soft when it's warm and hard when it's cold, which is what you need. So if you try a little Vaseline, just do a tiny bit, okay? I've never tried that, but it's the same idea. Like Crisco is the same as Crisco and bear grease are kind of the same. Lard. Basically some kind of, but I know a lot of people use just a little bit of beeswax, or really any kind of wax. It just makes it a little bit more pliable, so that when it here's some right here. So that when it takes a hit, it's not quite so prone to just snapping and breaking. This is a very ugly bit of pitch glue. I didn't strain the pitch very well, so it's got a lot of weird stuff in it. It totally works, but it's just not as tidy and nice looking as it could be. It's really fun. It smells good, and it basically works like hot glue. So you get this warm edge of a fire, maybe like over coals or next to a flame of some sort, a hair dryer, some way to get it warm. And then you apply a little bit, and then let's say you're trying to install your arrowhead. Get it warm too, and then when it's warm, put some on it. Okay, so now both your handle or your shaft and your piece have pitch glue on them. Get them both a little warm again, and then put it in there and adjust it while it's still warm. Let me use something that looks more proportionally appropriate here, like this. Okay, so I'm installing this into a slot, in there that pitch glue in it, and you can adjust it while it's still warm. And then if you've gone a little bit over, you can wet your finger and kind of push the pitch glue into place. Make sure your finger's wet. Otherwise, it'll stick to you and burn you. Ask me how I know. That's right. I've burned my finger pretty well. So you can also use a little stick, like a popsicle stick or something, and kind of press it in there, get it wet, press it in there, and then let it cool a little bit. And if you've got enough, good. If you need more, put in more. And then to kind of give it like a nice finish, you could heat it one more time and kind of let the surface flatten out and smooth out. It's great stuff. It's really handy. It's really good stuff. Yeah, exactly. Deer or rabbit poop. Just make sure it's really dry. You can also just find some dry grass and just like really grind it up. That's the same thing. So it doesn't have to be ungulate or herbivore poop, but it's traditional. All right. Am I ready? I'm almost ready to try and take a bit of my problem off here. Okay. I'm not sure how well this is going to work. I did it earlier in the week, and it worked fine, but the problem wasn't quite as bad last week or earlier in the week. The Vaseline's an interesting question. I suspect it would work, but I don't know. I try to use, traditional materials. And that's why I don't put beeswax in it, because I can't source beeswax in the wild. I do have some bear grease, but I've never tried it. I should probably make a batch. So here's my problem. This spine that's really close to the edge with a concave. What I'm going to try to do is take a hit on this side of it and drive it this way. And then take a hit on this side of it and drive it this way and see if I can take that off. Ooh, boy. I mean, I don't think I'm going to break the piece because it's still quite thick, but you never know what exactly could go wrong when you do this. I got to decide which size tool to use. All right, I got part of it. I got this edge of it, and I'm well set up to just hit it again right in that same spot. I got a little bit more. Let's see. So this is the remnant of my problem. I took out this flake and this flake. Oh, I don't know, Goober. Maybe a spearhead if I don't break it in half. That's why I don't say, because like this one earlier, like this was turning out to be a good spearhead, but now it's not. So I still got a little remnant right here. I'm going to try from the other side, up here. Yep, I got a bit more of it. So now I'm just down to this thing. Slowly, and actually, you know what? I think that's small enough now that I can just hit into it, hit it kind of conventionally and take that off. I'm going to switch to the bigger bopper though. There it is. It's gone. That big mass, gone. So that's a small victory. Last year, I wouldn't have known how to do that. I would have, I don't know, I would have tried some way that was a lot more difficult. Look at that. So even though I broke a nice big biface today, I got a good one started here. Helps me put it all behind me, you know. If you practice flint knapping, you can't fall too in love with anything that you're making. You're just asking for perpetual heartache. So, or you're really gonna slow your ability to get any better. If you're always worried about not breaking it, you know, then maybe you wouldn't have tried the thing that I just did that solved my problem. You know, so you'd be limiting your progress. You got to take the chances in order to get better. So many metaphors for life, right? All right. Let's see, which side do I want to take some off on? I guess we'll go this way. Uh-oh, you had a weird thought? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, absolutely you can use your hair, yes. I mean, if you've got long hair. This would take a while to make something, you know, long out of, but yes, absolutely. Hair is pretty strong. It's a good thought. I'm pretty sure some of the contestants on the History Channel show Alone have used their hair for things. I know Wonia used it to hold traps up, but she was just using single strands. But you can definitely make cordage out of hair. That technique I showed you is basically going to work with almost any fiber. What's that all about? Oh, 10 years. It must be pretty long. Well, you've always got cordage on you, I guess, in a way. big lumpy bit up here that I want to go after. Just have to decide the best side. Probably this, probably from the opposite side. Do I have an antler? Yeah. Do you mean for working on the tool or for mounting it? Both. Like this is just an extra piece I have that's probably going to be for some handle. And then these are all tools. These are all flint knapping tools. I'm just not using them much these days. Why would you start using more softer tools? Yeah, I could see that. Obsidian breaks pretty easily. So I've found that you gotta wind up pretty good with the antler. And chert is a lot tougher than obsidian. So I find I end up like doing that a lot, and over time my elbow just ends up really in trouble. You've probably heard I was using all antler tools for a long time, and I developed terrible tennis elbow, and I had to stop practicing for like a year and a half just to let my elbow heal up. So since I switched over to the modern tools, I didn't really want to, but since I switched over to the modern tools, I haven't had any trouble with injury. So it's kind of a compromise I'm making. I'd rather be using antlers, but I just, I guess my elbow just can't take it. Yeah, no need to apologize. It's a good thought. It's just what's working for me. coming up on 2 hours here. Come on now. Oh boy. Crushing the edge. Not good. Not good. Better. Well, I started an axe head. This one, I've got it chipped, but now I need to grind it. And that's such a slow process that I just keep putting it off. So I'm working on one. How often do I stream? I don't have a set schedule, but I'd say I've been doing it probably 4 or 5 times a week. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed watching. So usually, let's say it's a weekend day, so I'm on here earlier than during the week. It's more like 6 p.m. Eastern time. So several hours later than this. That's really starting to look like a spearhead, isn't it? Woohoo! Get that mounted up on something. Go mammoth hunting. When is mammoth season? I got a feeling I missed mammoth season by about 12,000 years. Your dog might be considered a mammoth. Did you see in the news they recently found a saber-toothed cat cub that's been frozen in the permafrost for thousands of years? So cool. It's like so well preserved. It's crazy. Oh, come on now. A tough spot here. Doesn't want to go. Yeah, it was kind of cute. I got a big fat spot that I can't seem to get rid of. I don't feel like breaking another one in half today. So I might call this good for the day and be like, okay, I need something, and come back to it a little bit more fresh. Well, we got the start of a spear point. Maybe I got a chirp. I got a big mass back here that I want to get rid of, but whoo, it's a problem. It's a problem, and I don't want to push it too far today because I've already had one catastrophe. Thanks, Goober. I appreciate it. Hey, for folks who have just joined more recently, my name's Doug North. On my channel, I show you how to make and use and create items from the past. Been practicing the ancient art of flint knapping today. That's the art of making stone tools. So I've got the start of a nice spearhead here, the way that the mammoth hunters might have, well, the way they pretty much did make them. And I pursue other things on the channel, and I'm building it out. And I hope to be putting out a new long form video next week, this week, whatever, in a few days. And I appreciate you spending time with me to check out the stream and watch what I do and ask your questions. Please go check out my shorts and my long form videos on YouTube. Comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I totally appreciate it. I really do. And I know your time's valuable and you could be spending it lots of places. So thank you very much. I'm probably going to be signing off here. And just want to thank you again. And hope you have a great rest of your day. And I want you all to take care of yourselves and take care of other people. And I appreciate everyone who stopped by for the repeat second, third, fourth time. I really like seeing those names come up in this community that we're starting to form. I stream several times a week, usually in the evenings, Eastern time, say 6 p.m.-ish Eastern time. Not every day. There's no fixed schedule, but I'm doing it pretty often just because I practice this so much. And if you've got questions, feel free to ask them when I'm streaming. I'll do my best to answer. Not just about flint knapping, but about any of like ancestral skills, whatever they happen to be. I'm interested in all of it and have tried a lot of it. So I'm happy to do my best to either tell you what I know or to point you in the right direction. Other people who know more than I do, or, books, YouTube channels, that kind of thing. I think these are just fascinating skills, and skills that all of our ancestors at one point or another depended on. So worth remembering and worth learning about. They tell us a lot about who we are and where we came from. So once again, my name's Doug North, and thanks so much for tuning in. I always appreciate it, and always appreciate whatever support you've got for the channel and for learning about making stuff from history. Okay. Take care of yourselves, take care of others, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.